It was supposed to be a private moment, but it became the moment that changed everything. Mykelti looks directly at the camera and says, "I told my dad. I'm a package deal. If you want me, you take my family too. But here's the part no one expected." She says this ultimatum wasn't just emotional. It was a reaction to something Kody did behind closed doors. And tonight, we're finally uncovering what it was. Before we reveal the reason behind Mykelti's shocking ultimatum, we have to rewind to a family already breaking under the weight of jealousy,
I think he's invited us all out there to meet him.
And emotional manipulation. Because the seeds of this ultimatum were planted long before Mykelti even realized it. For years, fans watched Mykelti defend her father. She was the one child who seemed to stay loyal even when others stepped back. But loyalty has limits. And Kody crossed one. To understand her ultimatum, you need to understand her history. Mykelti wasn't just a daughter. She was a daughter who watched her mother, Christine, break. And it was Christine, more than anyone, who unknowingly became the trigger for that ultimatum. When Christine left, Kody demanded loyalty. He pressured the older kids to choose sides, even when he claimed he didn't. But for Mykelti, choosing was impossible. She loved her dad, but she loved her mom. And Kody forced her into a corner. The breaking point came during a private family meeting, one that never made it to the show. A moment that Mykelti finally talked about, years later. This was the moment Kody said something he never should have said. "Kody, your mom betrayed the family. If you support her choices, don't expect me to support yours." It wasn't just a statement, it was a threat. A threat to pull support from his own daughter and her family. Mykelti. That's when I told him. I'm a package deal. If you want me in your life, you take Tony, my kids, and my mother without conditions. And here's the twist no one expected. Mykelti's ultimatum wasn't about Christine at all. Kody allegedly told Mykelti something that shook her to the core. Something about how much time he would, or wouldn't, spend with her kids, Avalon, Archer, and Ace. "Kody, I can't be everywhere. I'll focus on the wives who prioritize me." In that moment, Mykelti realized something heartbreaking. Her children were not a priority to their grandfather, unless she played by his rules. And that's when she said it again, louder. "Mykelti, Dad, I'm a package deal. You take all of us, or none of us." When fans heard Mykelti's story, the internet exploded. Because for once, the fans agreed, the ultimatum was overdue. Show comments. Kody only shows up for the wives who worship him. Mykelti stood up for her kids. Respect. This is the real reason the family fell apart. Family therapists say ultimatums happen when emotional boundaries have been crossed too many times. And Kody crossed them years ago. For Mykelti, it was no longer about loyalty to one parent. It was about loyalty to herself, and her future. In the end, Mykelti didn't break the family. She revealed what was already broken. Mykelti, I'm not choosing sides anymore. I'm choosing my kids. And that is the ultimatum that Kody could not ignore. Comment your thoughts. Was Mykelti right? Did Kody go too far? Now I uncover. Will Mykelti's bold stance end her bond with Kody, or begin a new chapter for the Brown family? Not every daughter gets to choose the moment she draws the line, but Mykelti Brown Padron did. "I love my dad, but loving him doesn't mean I'll let him hurt the people I love." And now, fans are asking one haunting question. Did that bold stand mark the end of her bond with Kody? Or the beginning of a new chapter for the Brown family? But the answer isn't what anyone expected. This story doesn't begin with an ultimatum. It begins with a daughter who spent years trying to keep the peace. Because long before Mykelti stood up to Kody, she was one of the few children who defended him. She always believed the family could survive anything. Until she realized she wasn't just fighting for a family. She was fighting for her own identity inside it. When Christine left, Mykelti was caught in the crossfire of loyalty. And Kody, shattered, defensive, angry, began seeking validation from the children who stayed close. This is where the bond between father and daughter began changing. Kody blaming Christine. Mykelti trying to stay neutral. Tony standing quietly beside her, observing everything. She wanted to be the bridge. But every bridge has a breaking point. The moment of truth came during a tense conversation, one the cameras never caught. A conversation that would define the future of their relationship. Kody, if you choose your mother's path, don't expect the same relationship with me. It wasn't a request. It felt like a warning. And for the first time, she pushed back. Mykelti, I'm not a pawn. I'm your daughter. Fans assumed the conflict was about loyalty to Christine. But the truth was far more personal. It wasn't Christine who triggered the stand. It was Tony. Behind the scenes, tension between Kody and Tony had been growing for years. Tony was outspoken, confident, unafraid to challenge Kody's authority. And Kody, he wasn't used to being challenged by a son-in-law. During the private confrontation, Kody allegedly dismissed Tony's role in Mykelti's life, implying that Tony was the one creating distance, and that Mykelti needed to choose which man's influence mattered more. Mykelti snapped. Mykelti, Tony is my husband, my children's father. I'm a package. We come together. That was the moment everything changed. Because fans didn't react the way the Brown family expected. The internet sided with Mykelti, calling her brave, balanced, and emotionally mature. Good for her for setting boundaries. Kody needs to respect her marriage. Tony is the only man who won't bow to him. But inside the Brown family, the shockwaves were massive. Robyn looking stressed. Other siblings posting cryptic messages. The question wasn't just whether Mykelti and Kody's relationship would survive. It was whether the entire family could. So, did Mykelti's bold stance end her bond with Kody? Or create a new chapter? The answer is both. She didn't choose distance. She chose boundaries. She didn't choose conflict. She chose clarity. She didn't end the relationship. She redefined it. And in doing so, she may have started something the Brown family has needed for years. A culture of accountability. A new chapter. A healthier one. If you believe every woman deserves the right to set boundaries, hit like. If you support Mykelti's strength, drop a comment. Let's deep dive in full details. Some ultimatums are whispered, some are emotional, but one ultimatum in the Brown family may have changed the future forever. Mykelti, I told my dad, I'm a package deal. If you want me, you take all of me. And now, fans everywhere are asking the question that could redefine the entire Sister Wives universe. Because what triggered this ultimatum was something Kody never expected. Before the ultimatum, before the confrontation, there was a daughter who believed she could hold a collapsing family together. For years, Mykelti defended her father. Even when others stepped away. even when the family fractures became impossible to hide. But there was one moment, one conversation, that changed everything she believed about her relationship with Kody. When Christine left in 2021, the emotional shockwave didn't hit all at once. It rolled slowly, like a storm forming on the horizon. Mykelti tried to stay neutral. But neutrality has a price. Kody, Season 17 episode reference. I feel betrayed. Christine is choosing herself over the family. Kody's anger wasn't just toward Christine. He wanted the older children, the adults, to take a stance. A stance that, for Mykelti, would become impossible. Because this wasn't about Christine at all. The emotional breaking point didn't happen while filming. It happened when cameras were off, behind closed doors, during a conversation Mykelti later described as deeply painful. Kody, I can't keep investing in relationships when people don't support me. Mykelti, Dad, that's not fair. And then, the comment that tore the last thread holding their bond. The remark wasn't aimed at Christine. It was aimed at Tony, and the children. That's when everything changed. Fans believed the ultimatum was about Christine's departure. But Mykelti later hinted that the real reason was far more personal. Kody dismissed Tony's role, and questioned his place in the family. In that private meeting, Kody allegedly implied Tony was influencing Mykelti's loyalty, and that he couldn't maintain the same level of relationship unless she chose the right direction. Mykelti, I won't choose between my dad and my husband. Tony is part of me. We're a package. This wasn't defiance. This was protection. For the first time, Mykelti wasn't defending her father. She was defending her identity, her family, her children. When fans heard parts of Mykelti's story, social media erupted. Mykelti finally stood up for herself. Tony is the only one who doesn't bend to Kody's ego. Kody needs to respect boundaries. This could be the shift the Brown family needed. Family therapists online praised her boundary setting. Women's support groups celebrated her courage. And Sister Wives viewers saw the event as a symbolic turning point. But the real question remained. Was the relationship truly broken? In family systems theory, a boundary-setting event is rarely the ending. It's the transition point into a new dynamic. So, did Mykelti's bold stance end her bond with Kody? Or begin something new? The truth is, it did both. She didn't sever ties. She redefined them. For the first time in the Brown family's history, a child didn't break under Kody's expectations. She rose above them. And because she did, other siblings are now finding the courage to do the same. This isn't the end of the Brown family story. It's the beginning of a new chapter. One built not on fear or loyalty tests, but on boundaries, healing, and emotional independence. If you believe women deserve to set boundaries without guilt, hit the like button. If Mykelti's courage moved you, drop a comment. And if you want more deep dive, emotional Sister Wives documentaries, subscribe now. A new chapter is coming, and you won't want to miss it.